Good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Ready or not, let's do this. This is a ridiculously early morning webinar to start your day off right, whether you're ready for it or not. There's a little bit of mindset, a little bit of business sense, something for your MLM, network marketing, small business brick and mortar, online or off, to get it up and running like a well-oiled machine. Whether you're a newbie, a seasoned veteran, or somewhere in between, there is something here for you. Good morning. This is Mina coming to you from New York City out in the borough of Queens. I created this webinar to push myself out of my comfort zone and to share my experiences and what I'm learning along with you so that you can grow along into success alongside with me. Good morning. How are you doing today? How's the weather in your area? It's really cold here in New York City. Last night it got down to, it felt like minus 25 degrees. It is really cold. And I'm really grateful and thankful that we have heat and roof over our heads. And those are just little things to be appreciative of. And that I can come and bring this webinar to you from my humble little home office here. So let's do a little bit of a recap of what we spoke about yesterday. Yesterday, I took some words from Michael Jackson's song, Man in the Mirror. And it was all about leadership starting with you and you changing yourself and pouring into yourself so that you can pour into others. And if you want to know more and watch that, yesterday's hangout, I will leave the link below in the description bar. So that was yesterday's hangout. Today, I'm going to talk about Sam Berns, and that is the mindset moment for today. I was watching a TED Talk yesterday, and I came across this one from a high school student. His name is Sam Berns. And Sam Berns, he is a junior. Well, no, I think he is now a senior in high school because TED Talk was from last year. And Sam Berns is a high school student that is wiser beyond his years. He has some special needs, and he suffers from a rare condition called progeria. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but in essence, he looks older than what he is. He looks like an elderly person, but he's a young child. He's a young kid. He's like high school age. And along with that condition, he can't do a lot of things that other kids can do. But that has not stopped him because he says, well, even though there are certain things that he cannot do, there's a lot of things that he can do. So that is a great mindset and a great outlook to have, despite the challenges that he may face. So here's an example of what he had done, because what he said here was that, okay, here's the example. He plays in his marching band. He wanted to play snare drums in his high school marching band. But because of his condition, he cannot lift the 40-pound, he's unable to hold up the 40-pound or 50-pound harness required to put the snare drum into place. But he really wanted to play snare drums. So he collaborated together with his mother and a group of engineers, and they designed a snare drum harness that weighs only 6 pounds. And that enabled him to play in the marching band. So he didn't let that stop him. He found a way to adjust so he can do what he wanted to really do. He found a way to adjust, well, how can I play the snare drums in a marching band if I can't carry a 40-pound harness? Let's design the lighter harness. He designed a lighter harness, okay? So he had contemplated a career as an engineer, but now he wants to be a biologist or a cell biologist. And I kind of understand why. He probably wants to, no, I'm sure he does, wants to help others, people like him and others, just to lead better lives. And he feels that he can do that being a biologist or cell biologist. So what I want to share with you today, he has a very simple philosophy for having a happy life. And I think that this is really important. So the first thing he says is to be okay with what you ultimately cannot do, because there's so much that you can do. And then put things in the can-do category by making adjustments. That's pretty cool. So he said, okay, I can't do certain things here, but there's so much more that I can do. So if you feel like there are things that you would like to do, but you're unable to do, and then you feel frustrated, or you might feel a little bit jealous because other people can do them, but you cannot. But realize that while you cannot do certain things, there are so many other things that you can do. For instance, you're in the home business industry and you see people who are like whiz kids, and they're like brains, and they can handle like internet stuff like PPV, and they know how to set up Facebook ads and get a lot of leads and yada, 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 yada. And you're not there yet. Or you want to be there, but you're not there yet. You can't do that, or you can't do it right now yet. But there are so many things that you can do, like you can give forth value. And if you feel that you can't give forth value yourself, you can share value. Did you know that you can share value and still gain leads and people to you? You can share other people's stuff and still be seen as an authority. Because in that sense, people will be like, oh, she knows where to get the good stuff. So she knows something. I'm going to follow her. You can easily do that on Twitter. I learned that skill through Guy Kawasaki and Kim Garst, where you can share a whole ton of content that is not even yours. And because you are sharing this stuff, you are seen as an authority of where to get all this cool stuff. People start to follow you because they like what you're sharing. And then as you get comfortable and get down into a groove and sharing valuable content, then you can throw in a little bit of your content here and there, and people will look at it because they're already seeing you as an authority of sharing valuable content. So that is one thing you can do. What else can you do if you're not an internet whiz kid, and you can create money on demand yet? Well, you can practice attraction marketing, simple attraction marketing. As you put out valuable content and people start to follow you, you can start conversations with them. Every follow you get, you can send them a little thank you, say thank you for following me. Why don't we continue the conversation here? And you link them to your blog. And your blog is just your main portal. That is your home base, where you have everything there, all your information there, all the value that you're setting up and putting forth. And then you also have opportunities available, so that when people come and step around on your blog and they step into an opportunity and they say, well, this looks interesting. I'm going to find out more about what this is all about, and blang. And before you know it, you got a lead. And before you know it, you have people who are following you. So don't focus on what you cannot do. Focus on what you can do, and put those can-do, put the things in the can-do category by making adjustments. So that's philosophy number 1 by Sam Berns, which I think is really good philosophy. Number 2 is to surround yourself with people that you want to be around. Now that's simple. Surround yourself with people that you want to be around. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you're going to surround yourself with people who are like your yes people, who how can I say? Well, just to put it in a nutshell, your true friends. Your friends who will be there in the good times and in the bad. And I'm certain that you will be there for them as well. People that I'm not there to see what they can get out of you. No, people are there because they truly like you, and they see that you are genuine and they are genuine as well. And they can edify you as you can edify them as well. It's a win-win situation. That is people that you want to be around, because you can do something or you can pursue something and they're not going to criticize you. And they're not going to say, well, what are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that stupid thing? No, they're not going to criticize you. Maybe they might be like, okay, concerned that maybe you might be going down a certain path, or they might be concerned and scared for you, and they may express it that way, but they'll say it in a way, say, okay, I'm not sure about this thing that you're doing, but I see that you're really into it, so if I can do anything for you and help you out, I'm here for you. So that is a true friend. They're not going to prejudge like what I hear, or not what I hear, I've experienced as well, where you have friends and loved ones that look at you like you have 5 heads because you're in the home business industry, because they don't know They only have preconceptions and misconceptions about it. They don't know what you know. And that's why you need to just keep moving forward so that you can show them and teach them and say, hey, it's not like what you see. It's not like what it seems. I've been doing this and I know this works, and I'm going to keep ahead and forge ahead and do it. So your true friends are going to be like, okay, I see that you're really serious about this. And even though I don't understand it, I'm really looking forward to your view of it and your perception of it. And if you need anything, I'm here for you. Period. So surround yourself around people that you want to be around, because that is going to make you feel better. It's going to lead to a more happier life. Right. Number 3, keep moving forward. Simple philosophy. Keep moving forward. There are days that you're going to trip and you're going to stumble, you're going to fall forward, you're going to fail forward. Get back up, brush yourself off, and keep moving forward. That is the only key, to keep moving ahead. Even as you're doing things each day, day in and day out, and you may not see anything happening right now, keep moving forward, because you're building a foundation. Even as you are doing things in your business and you may not have the support of your family and your loved ones, keep moving forward, because you know what you want. You are moving towards your dream. So keep moving forward. And he puts a quote here, and it's by Walt Disney. There's a movie called Meet the Robinsons. And it says here, the quote says, "Around here, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things." So that's the key. Keep moving forward. So right now, I'll just give myself as an example. I'm working in my home office, doing a webinar, day in and day out. And very soon I'm going to be doing more webinars, but more webinars specific to a skill like video marketing. And stay tuned for that. I will let you know. That's coming up very soon. And who knows, 90 days from now, I'll be on a different plateau, on a higher plateau. And perhaps 6 months from now, I'll be doing something even cooler, because I just keep forging ahead, because I'm going to keep forging ahead. No, I will keep forging ahead, and I am forging ahead, because I know that today is going to be a great day, and tomorrow is going to be better than today, and the day after that is going to be better than yesterday, day before that, and so on and so forth. So it's good to keep moving forward and not looking back. Don't dwell on the past. When the past comes knocking on the door, don't open it. Say you're not home, because there's no reason to be dwelling on the past. Be here on the now, focus, so that your future looks bright, and your future is bright. Now, on the topic of TED Talks, there's another TED Talk that I had seen a while back, and it was by Mel Robbins, who's a lawyer, and she helps people get what they want. And she says that getting what you want is simple, but never easy. You got to work hard for it. And she spoke about how scientists determine the probability of you being born. What is the probability of you being born? Scientists actually crunched numbers. They took into effect all the natural disasters, the dinosaurs, all, natural disasters, the dinosaurs, all the wars. They took into account everything, and they calculated the probability of you being born to the parents that you were born to, and having your DNA makeup. They calculated all of that. And it came down to this number, to this ratio. The odds of you being born, despite all the wars, all the natural disasters, the dinosaurs, and all the external events, and being born to the parents that you were born to, and having the genetic makeup that you have, is 1 in 400 trillion. 1 in 400 trillion. Those are pretty extreme odds. So what does that mean? You're a miracle. I am a miracle. You're a miracle. So if the odds of you being born was 1 in 400 trillion, don't you think that you have so much to contribute to the world? Don't you think that you have all these ideas and all these great things that you would like to do? And what Mel Robbins continues to say is that all of us, each you and I, you guys, you get all these amazing ideas that bubble up. And then what happens? You put the snooze button on it. What happens every morning? What's the first thing everybody does? They hit the snooze button because they want 5 more minutes of sleep. The same happens with the ideas that bubble up in your head. You put the snooze button on it and you never act on it. It's what Les Brown says. The greatest treasures in the world are not found in the emerald mines of Russia or in the oil fields of Saudi Arabia or in the diamond mines that you find around the world. They are found in the cemetery. The cemetery is a place where there's this untapped, the cemetery is a place where all this potential untapped goes to lie. And that's a huge tragedy. So how can you avert this tragedy? When those amazing ideas bubble up, act on them. You have a 5 minute window of opportunity to act on those opportunities. Even if the least thing you do is to write it down in a journal, but you wrote it down and then you can act on it later. So that is what Mel Robbins wanted to get through with her talk, is that if the odds of you and I being born is 1 in 400 trillion, then that is truly a miracle. And if we are all miracles on this green earth, then why not make use of our potential and our talents to making this world a better place? There are people that are doing it. What about you? Now, that is the mindset portion for this morning, the mindset moment portion. I'm now going to move into the business sense portion. And that is here, the difference between successful and very successful people. So it might be a little bit of mindset here, but there's a lot of business sense in this part here. It's an article I found on entrepreneur.com. And I'm just going to read you the differences so that you can listen and think about it and see what you can do to improve and grow and continually grow. Look at that man in the mirror, see how you can change. You ready? So there are myths and there are truths to this. Myth number 1. Successful people say, if I can fit it in, I should fit it in. So successful people think that being continually busy is good and they can juggle a lot of things on their agenda. And so they cram things to do and they say yes to everyone. But in reality, while they wear being busy as a badge, they're stressed out, they don't have time for their family, they are exhausted, and they get sick more often because they're not getting the required rest that they need. And I can relate to that, where I would be busy, and I would go to bed at really extreme hours in the morning, and I would wake up, and then I can't function. And I'm slowly going to bed at a better time so that I can wake up, especially in time to do this really ridiculously early morning webinar. But I do feel the difference when I have the required amount of hours of sleep. It does make a difference on how you function and how you work and produce. So while the myth is that successful people say that if I can fit it in, I'm going to fit it in, very successful people say no to almost everything. Think about that. Very successful people will say no to almost everything because they are evaluating it and seeing, does it fit in with their purpose? Does it fit in with what they're doing? And they're seeing, if I say yes to this, how is it going to affect my production as a whole? And if they see that it's going to affect their time, affect their mood, in turn of being, if it's going to make them stressed out more, they're going to say no. And that's what very successful people do, because what very successful people do is they guard their time wisely, because time is precious. So if they see something that is going to eat into their time instead of contribute to it, they're going to say no to everything. So that's what very successful people do. They say no to almost everything. Myth number 2, successful people sleep 4 hours a night. But very successful, and that's the myth. The truth is that very successful people rest well, so they are at peak performance. Now, I don't know how much you can function, how many hours of sleep that you can function on. Some people can function on 4 hours of rest each night. But there are some people who need more. You will have to find your sweet spot. Don't just where, oh, I can sleep only 4 hours a night, and really you're extremely exhausted and you're downing major cups of coffee to stay awake. Try to get the rest that you need so that you can be at your peak performance. Now, understandably, if you're working on something that you need to get done, you have a deadline you need to meet, of course, there are going to be nights that you're not going to sleep at the many hours that you're required to sleep, but try to recoup that as soon as possible. Although sleep is also something that's kind of precious, and rest that is kind of difficult to recoup, but do the best that you can. But the truth is that very successful people are going to get the rest that they need so they can be at the peak performance and perform well and focus and do the things they need to do to make their business a success. Okay? Myth number 3. Successful people think play is a waste of time, where they feel like they have to be all work, 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 work. There's no time for rest. There's no time for vacation. And they think it's a waste of time. Well, no, they think that it is a waste of time. Okay. Now, mind you, there are people, when you start your business, of course, there's no time for a vacation or for doing what you want to do. But play can come in different ways. You can do it in the form of exercise, where you have a break from work and your mind gets to breathe. So that could be a form of play. Very successful people see play as an essential for creativity. So while successful people say no to play because they think of it as a waste of time, very successful people do see play as essential for creativity. Even going out for a walk with your dog can be considered play because it's time away from your home office. It gives you time to think about things and get some creative ideas. There are people who go out and they run. And running creates those feel-good hormones, those endorphins, and that brings oxygen to your brain, and then you start to get a bevy of creative ideas. There are people who like to jump rope. I have a jump rope here. That's seen as play. I've recently taken up juggling. I used to juggle in high school, in high school and in college, and I'm taking up juggling in an effort to rewire my brain so I can focus better. That's a form of play. So inject some form of play into your workday so that you can boost your creativity and you can increase your focus. Now, myth number 4. Successful people are the first ones to jump in with an answer. That is a myth, because usually when they jump in with an answer, they're not paying attention to the question, or they're not really paying attention to what is being said. Very successful people are powerful listeners. When you become a powerful listener, you are listening intently to what the other person is saying. You're taking that in, and you're taking time to form your response. A lot of people, they throw in answers here and there, and they just act rapid fire. And many times they're not really paying attention to what is being said. But when you take the time to really listen to the other person, and you pay attention to what they're saying, and then you're formulating your answer, you're actually appreciating that person, and they will be grateful for that you are actually listening to them and they are being heard. So very successful people are powerful listeners. Myth number 5. Successful people focus on what the competition is doing. So they're worried about what the competition is doing, and they want to be ahead of the competition. How can they be ahead of the competition? But that is a myth. Very successful people focus on what they can do better. So how can you focus on what you can do better? Well, you do your day, you record your day, and at the end of the day, before you go to bed, you reflect on your day. What went well, what has room for improvement, and what can you focus on doing better for the next day around. So always focus on what you can do better, not on what the competition is doing, not on, oh, this person is really blowing it out of the park and they're getting results and they're getting leads, and look at them, they're just getting money, and you know, that is like, when you're focusing on what the competition is doing, you're actually comparing yourself to them. And you have to realize that you are not them, you are you. So focus on what you can do better. Focus on you. Focus on you serving others, helping others. Focus on putting value out there and helping others grow along into success alongside with you. So that is what very successful people do. An important question to focus on is, what's important now? What is important now? What is the important thing that you have to do right now to move forward? What is the thing that you can do right now to grow your business? It could be connecting with somebody on Facebook. It could be putting forth some valuable content. It could be something that you find, like a great article, and sharing it by Twitter, or creating a great Instagram post and engaging people there. What's important now? Think about that. So just to recap, Sam's philosophy on leading a happy life. There are many things that you can't do, but there are many things that you can do. Put the can-do things in a category and make adjustments so you can do them. Surround yourself with people that you want to be around and always move forward. And that is the mindset moment. And for the business sense moment, very successful people say no to almost everything. Very successful people rest so that they are at peak performance. Very successful people see play as essential for creativity. Very successful people are powerful listeners. And very successful people focus on what they can do better. And the question of the day is, what's important now? I want to thank you for stopping by on today's Rise and Shine. Ready or not, let's do this. This is Mina coming to you from New York City. Have a happy Thursday, folks. See you tomorrow, Friday, January 9th. Same bat time, same bat channel. If you liked what you heard here, feel free to leave a comment below and pass it along and share it along with a friend. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a happy day, folks. Cheers.